Nathaniel Gavronsky here. Today is September 11th, 2018. Today we mark the anniversary of September 11th, 2001 with the attacks on New York City, the Pentagon in Washington, D.C., and Flight 93 that valiantly fought off the attackers and hijackers and landed the plane in a field in Pennsylvania. We also celebrate and remember those who died on September 11, 2012 in Benghazi. September 11th is a very important day for a lot of Americans. When I visit the Twin Towers before the attacks, and then visiting Ground Zero, after 9/11, there's a special feeling there. I see a lot of people that are at this memorial that have had no connection to it. They never lived in New York. They don't know anyone who died there, but it's a very emotional feeling for them. They get overtaken with tears and sorrow because these are people who were just trying to go to work, people that were just trying to do their jobs, pay their bills, take care of their family. That was their only goal that day. That was the only thing they had in mind. None of this ideology, there was nothing political about what they did. They were just going to work. And for them to be murdered like that for doing nothing is very emotional. An attack on our country like that is, really raw and is going to leave an impact on people for years and years to come. I know people that weren't even born yet that have this emotional connection to it. I'm sure, like many people who visit the Pearl Harbor site in Hawaii do, these are people that were just going about their day. They were in peacetime, and for their world, they were in peace. They weren't trying to change anyone's behavior. They weren't trying to manipulate anyone. They were just trying to do their job. They were trying to, pay their bills, go to church. They were trying to go to, even to go to temple. A lot of them, there were a lot of Muslims that were killed in New York City on September 11th by the hijackers. That's something that people probably should realize, that men and women of every nation, every creed, every race, every religion were killed by these sociopaths that flew those planes into those buildings that day. September 11th is always a big day for me, as I spent a lot of time in New York. And I used to always wear my little flag pin on September 11th. Now, thanks to Sean Hannity, I have these. I gave one to my friend in New York. I have one that I given to the governor of Iowa and the lieutenant governor of Iowa, and I wear them throughout the month of September to show my respects and my homage to the people who were killed September 11, 2001, and to those that were killed on the anniversary of 9/11 in 2012, just because they were Americans. Especially when it comes down to Benghazi, the people that were killed there that day in September of 2012, were actually there on a peace mission. They were trying to make peace. They were trying to build relationships. They wanted a better life, not only for the people in the United States, but for people who were in Libya. And they were attacked and murdered for their goodwill. That's also a very, very raw and hurtful feeling, to know that someone who only wanted to do good was killed because they wanted to do good. They wanted to see the lives of other people be better, and he was murdered for that dream. And that is something that we shouldn't forget when it comes to 2012 and the Benghazi attacks. A lot has happened since 2001. Our world is completely changed, and I can't say that it's always smooth sailing, but this is the new world that we live in, and we will live through these changes that many of us don't realize are different from prior to 2001. A lot of people who were born afterwards think this was just the way life has always been. And for those of us that have been around before then, realize how much the world has actually changed since those buildings came down on that really nice, warm, sunny September day. Even here in Iowa, there's a lot of people showing support and embracing those that were murdered on September 11, 2001 and 2012. I wear my pin to, throughout the entire month of September, and I have a lot of sorrow for those who died that day, and I believe we all do, not only here in the United States, but everywhere, because there was a lot of people who were murdered that weren't Americans. There were embassies in that building. There were people, restaurants. There were people visiting. It was the World Trade Center. It wasn't just one nation. It was everybody. It was an attack on everyone, attack on civilization itself on that day. And it doesn't matter what religion you are. It doesn't matter what faith you are, what creed, what background, what race, sexual orientation. Because you were, most likely going to be an American, for those people that hijacked those planes, you should die because of it. And those people aren't all gone. We need to stay vigilant. There's been several attacks on home soil with people with the same ideology. And I want to, caution people to, if they see something, say something. But at the same time, don't blame someone or just assume that someone is bad because of where they're from. There's a lot of people on this planet that have no ill will towards anybody else. They, much like those who died on September 11th, are just trying to go about their business, trying to make ends meet, trying to do best for their children. And we should base everyone and each individual based on their character, based on their behavior, how they carry themselves, and their aspirations for the future. Not on who they were, not on where they came from, but what positive changes they may bring in the future. That's how we should view each and every single person we come across. Doesn't matter who they were yesterday, as long as they want to make the world a better place tomorrow. And I do want to have a caution for those out there that, try to make everything political or everything racial or everything, everything's bigotry, everything's racist, or because your skin color or because where you're from or how you pray, that you are somehow, other or the enemy or potentially an enemy. That's not the case. And one thing that September 11th, 2001 should bring to mind is that on September 12th, 2011, everyone flew the American flag. Doesn't matter where you were from. Doesn't matter what religion you are. Doesn't matter what color of skin you had or what job you had. There wasn't a U.S. flag left unsold that remained for a long time afterwards, because we were one nation, and we always will be one nation. Even during the Civil War, that bond of nationhood couldn't be broken. And I really want people to think about that, and to bear in mind that hatred towards any group of people based on political beliefs or ideology is a fallacy upon your own character. Stay healthy, stay wealthy, stay wise. And as always, stay classy.